hey. Why do I always do that? I'm on mute. Hey, good people. I am back. Welcome to Sip with Joy. I am getting ready. Gigi was tripping. She didn't want to cooperate. She didn't want to put her pajamas on. So me and her were over here having a moment, okay? So we're just getting ready. Hey Gigi, you good? Okay, y'all see that she looks so cute. Look at her little bow. She looks so cute. Okay, that's my boo, y'all. Gigi, decides sometimes when she wants to be my co-host. But welcome back again to Sip with Joy. I am so glad to be back today. I look forward to Mondays with you guys. So, yeah, welcome back. Happy Monday. Hopefully, you guys had a good weekend. Come on in. Hey, Jess Lee. Welcome back. All right, so this is a show about a girl, her wine, and her feelings. And I am that girl. I am your host, Joy M. Hutton. And I'm a lover of food, wine. I'm a serial entrepreneur. So, yeah, let's get into it, okay? So today, hey Elsie, today I'm drinking a Lambrusco. So this is probably one you guys have not heard me talk about before. A Lambrusco is a sparkling red wine. So this is actually from a black owned winery called Lions Wine. Can't wait to talk about this on Sip with Joy. It's a cool red bottle. So yeah, Lambrusco. I'm gonna pop that up so you guys can see how to spell it. So yeah, Lambrusco sparkling red wine, and yes, these do exist. It's a real thing. Best way to drink this is to serve it chilled. So I'm gonna have my, you know, starting sip over here, and then we're gonna talk about today's topic. So hey, if you're here in the room, let me know you're here. Say hello to me so we can get into this. All right. So I'm drinking a Lambrusco. It's really good. It's not too sweet. Sorry, Elsie. But I think you would actually like it. All right, so yeah, I'll talk about that on the Sip of the Day. So if you're not following the Sip with Joy page, follow me at Sip with Joy on Instagram. All right. Okay, so today's topic, guys, is toxic love. All right, like when is enough in a toxic relationship? So we're going to talk about that and how do you know that you're in a toxic relationship to begin with? Cuz it's just a lot. So let's talk about what a toxic relationship is first. Hey Ray, welcome back. All right. So a toxic relationship is when you may feel drained or unhappy after spending time with that partner, or maybe you're drained after talking to them. You had enough. And you no longer enjoy the relationship. You're always arguing with that person. You dread seeing the person. It's a lot of other signs that we're going to get into, but those are just the beginning things. Like if you don't want to be around your partner anymore, I think it may be time to go. All right. And this topic hits home for me because I've definitely been in some very toxic relationships, and I had to ask myself why did I stay in it? And so for me, I treated things as isolated incidents and instead of seeing that person for who they really were. And I think for me too, I also just gave them the benefit of the doubt, and I was hoping that they would return to the person that I met. You always get the good stuff in the beginning, so I wanted to return to the good stuff and see if that was really who they were. But sadly, it was a toxic situation, and so yeah, I had to end it, or had to end those toxic situations. So, and toxic relationships don't just exist in dating or marriage. It could be your own parents. It really can. Like, nothing you do may be good enough. They're dogging you out to the gods, manipulating you to get their way. Or, you may be afraid of disappointing them because of the consequences that may carry. Are you going to get beat to a pulp? And if you can't talk to your parents about, things that have happened and you're afraid of disappointing them, we're all afraid of disappointing our parents. But at what point does it become toxic? If you just scared to pieces of saying anything. All right. So let's get back to relationships though. How do you recognize the signs? So, for starters, it's abusive. And abuse comes in many different forms. It's not just physical, it can be emotionally, verbally, financially abusive. Um, when your partner is withholding things from you, maybe sex. Are they withholding sex or affection from you, cutting you off? I feel like women do this more than men because men, they're more physical. We are too, but I just feel like women are we really, quick to cut the men off in that department. Um, when you express concern about a situation and your partner turns the tables on you or blames you instead of hearing you out, when you make a decision your partner didn't like and then they lash out at you, it's like, man, can I even say how I really feel? And they make you feel bad about having a life outside of them. I've dated a couple of guys where they knew I had a life before we even dated. And it's like, my life does not stop when you enter. Like, that's just not going to happen. And they were very insecure about me being out and questioned everything that I did when I was out. And I'm like, this is real toxic. Like, maybe you need to get you some friends so that you're not all up in my business. Okay. Um, so there's that. And then constantly wanting you to check in. Like, come on now. Like, all these check-ins throughout the day, it's not necessary. We're adults here. Then, it's a lot of things, guys, where, toxic relationships can bring up a lot of things. Your partner keeps bringing up the past and keeping tabs on all of your mistakes, and it's like, wait, I didn't realize you were perfect. Yeah. So let's talk about that. And then blaming your partner for your own emotions. We cannot expect people to be responsible for how we feel at all times. And a lot of the times we do that to people, like, you made me feel this way. And it's like, but did I? Like, how are you putting that on me? Like, I had a bad day because of you. And we really need to take responsibility for our own emotions instead of putting that on somebody else. And then when your partner buys gifts in efforts to cover up an actual problem. Like, don't buy me gifts. Let's get to the bottom of what the actual problem is. And yeah, because that's not going to work on me. So I'm sure that there are even more behaviors, but feel free to drop some of those in the chat if you think of any, because we have to educate each other when we're in toxic situations. So definitely feel free to drop those in the chat. And then feel free to comment on some of the things that I've already said. Have you seen those things in past relationships and did you stay? Did you give people the benefit of the doubt? Because, it's okay. We're human. We're forgiving, and that's okay. All right. So, okay. Is it possible to turn a toxic relationship into a healthy relationship? And yes, that's if you don't decide to just leave that situation. So both partners need to be willing to change. The other side of change too is, I say, you have to have the willingness to change and you have to have the capacity to change. Some people may be willing, but they don't have the capacity. And when I say capacity, that means that they are just unable to either receive love, they're unable to give it, they don't know where to start in terms of giving or getting help. So both of those things need to be present. You need to have both the willingness and the capacity. Next, both partners, and remember, I'm saying both because this is not a one-sided thing. We may put it on one partner, but it takes two to tango. So will we both have to admit that there's a problem and we need to agree on what needs to be fixed. So obviously this is easier said than done. It takes a lot of work on both parts to admit that there's a problem, you know. And then we have to learn to communicate in a healthy way without excessive blaming or judgment. Because there's a lot of that. It's not about winning an argument. Like, what's the end goal here? Are we trying to stay together or no? Because if not, then we just need to go ahead and cut the ties. Hey, Renee. So if you decide that it's worth it, then maybe, have an intervention. If that's counseling, seeking a therapist to intervene, or maybe another intermediary party that's, neutral to the both of you. But there's an intervention that needs to be had. And if all else fails, then deuces. It's time to exit stage left. All right. So speaking of toxic relationships, hey Kajoya. Speaking of toxic relationships, the what the sip today is. Now I don't know if some of you all have heard of this couple, but Chrisean Rock and Blueface. This is one of the most toxic couples I have seen on the internet in a long time on social media. Besides Kim and Kanye, because that was pretty toxic as well. But this girl, she's now pregnant by this rapper who has physically abused her. Actually, they physically abused one another. They have mentally, emotionally abused one another. It's just so toxic. And I'm like, at what point? And she's only 22. She's already had three or so, maybe three or more abortions from this guy. While they were together, he got another girl pregnant, and she still stayed with him, and they're still hanging out. Like, he's going on social media saying that they're not together, but then you see them laid up with one another, and I'm just like, it makes me cringe when I see them together. Hey James, hey Max. It makes me cringe when I see them together. I'm like, when are you going to free yourself? Like, y'all need to free yourselves from each other, because this is toxic. So I don't know at what point she's going to wake up and say, I don't need this man. She has his face tattooed all over her neck. She's got his name on her, like 7 different places. And it's just like, I just really need this to stop, But hey, that's them. I wish her healing, and we're really the both of them, because we can't have people out there just tainting the dating pool. But they're young, and hopefully they will grow from this at some point. But I'm talking about Chrisean and Blueface, Chrisean Rock and Blueface. If you haven't heard of them, Google them, and you'll see the toxic behavior that I'm talking about. Oh man, so yeah, you can definitely free yourself from toxic relationships. It is possible. But again, as I said before, like, if you decide that it's worth it, then there are definitely steps that you can take to turn it into a healthy relationship. Because yeah, I have definitely been in some toxic situations, and I just don't have it in me. I just really don't have it in me. I choose peace. I don't choose violence. And I choose to go on about my life if the situation is not good for me. All right. Hey, Robin. So, yeah, if you guys missed the beginning of the conversation, you're going to have to rewatch it, replay. And don't forget to like, comment. Well, you're already commenting, but subscribe too, so you are here for the next episode. But yeah, so, and if you want to weigh in on the topic, I'm going to go ahead and open the lines. Well, it's only one line. You only calling me. But 713-396-0277 if you want to call me and weigh in on this topic. And if not, I am going to get to some questions, because there were some questions that came through today. All right, so that first, I'm sipping on a Lambrusco, Kajoya. It's very good. So make sure you go to Sip with Joy to watch the sip of the day that I put out on Saturday, so you can learn more about the wine. But it's really good. It's a sparkling red wine. So 713-396-0277 if you want to call and talk to me. But all right, so some questions, and then you can drop them in the chat too. We're not just limited here to the questions on um, that I saw earlier on Instagram. Go ahead and drop those questions. Okay, so the first question is, are you still considering leaving Houston? And if so, where would you go? Because y'all know I be trying to escape from Houston all the time. So I mean, I think I'm gonna try to make Houston work for a little bit. I'm praying on it, y'all. But if I were to leave Houston, and it would be probably LA. I really like LA. I visited a couple of times last year, and I hadn't really spent a lot of time in LA before that, and I liked it. I was like, I think I could totally vibe out in LA, and you know, since I probably won't be moving to Toronto, Canada, because I just, I realized I said I love Toronto, but it's just too cold. And I can't handle the cold like I used to. And I'm from Chicago, but I just cannot handle the cold like I used to. Hi, Irene. So, okay, so that's that question. LA, I thought about New York, but again, the cold, y'all, the cold. My bones can't take it. Next question. Are you going to do an in-person event this year? You know, maybe. I think I would do something like a wine pairing event, have food and wine, because I think that would be cool. Since I talk about wine so much, it's just fitting that I do a wine event, right? So yeah, I think I may put an event, an in-person event on the book so y'all can come see me in Houston, hang out with me, drink a little wine. Okay, I'm gonna move this number here, 713-396 0277. Okay. Next question. What kind of dog do you have and how old is she? Oh, it's my little boo-boo right there. I have a Yorkie Poo, a little feisty Yorkie Poo named Gigi, and she is 8. Are you 8? Yeah? She's like, really? I don't want to be involved. I'm just here for the couch. So yeah, she is 8 years old, and that's my baby. I still treat her like she's a little puppy because that's my boo-boo. Let's see. Are my parents still together? Yes, they are. My mama and daddy are still together, and they live in Chicago, outside of Chicago. Let's see. Have you ever had a Bordeaux wine? Yes, it's one of my favorite regions to get reds from, Max. So yes, I love it. Robin said a live wine event would be awesome. Yes, I am here for it. So, yeah, that's all I got. This was a quick one, y'all. I wanted to talk about toxic love because I saw Krishan and Blueface on social media, and I was like, what is really happening out here on this street, in these streets? So, if you have any more questions, drop them because I'm about to be off here in 2 seconds. So, next week we're going to have Dr. Aljuan Tart with us because I told you guys I was going to mix it up this season with some guests. So Dr. Tart is going to be with us. He's a relationship therapist, but he also talks about other things. So he's going to come on and talk about grief. I saw a snippet that he did on his social media. He was talking about getting unstuck when you're in that grief season. So definitely think it's an important topic to talk about because we're really not taught to deal with grief. We're not taught how to really grieve, and people make you feel bad about grieving when someone's been gone too long. So we're going to talk about a lot of those things next week. Love Dr. Tart. He's great. I really want to have him come on and talk about grief and relationships because he be reading my whole life when talking about relationships. So but we're going to talk about grief first, and then maybe he'll come back and we'll talk about relationships. And so let's see. Joyce, Jules said he used to be my therapist. Yes, he's so good. So I can't wait to hear from Dr. Tart. Kajoya said, are you getting with any of the new Ready to Love cast? Seems to be a couple of love connections lately. No, ma'am. I am trying to find someone outside of the Ready to Love realm. Because it's other options out there besides Ready to Love, y'all. Let's see. Renee asks, are you going to Simone and Rashid's wedding? No. Max said grief is a very important topic. Looking forward to seeing the episode. It is. And a lot of my audience, and I think a lot of people have experienced it, but haven't really talked about it in that way. And I'm finally at a place where I can talk about it without like bawling my eyes out, because it was hard. It was definitely hard for me in the beginning. So now I can talk about my grief, the passing of my sister, without crying all the time. Now, sometimes, it depends on who I'm talking to, because some people just, they bring that spirit up out of you. But, you know, I'm in a better place. I can't say I'm in the best place, but I'm in a better place with where I am now. Each day is a struggle, and I tell people that no matter how put together you see me looking, your girl be struggling. Last Friday was my sister's birthday, and we used to celebrate our birthdays together. So that was a tough week, because it was my birthday and hers 6 days later. So it was a tough week for me. So hey Dion, yes, we are. What am I looking forward to in 2023? Socially, Kajoya, I'll come back to that. Hey, Will. So, 2023, these past few years have been crazy. So I'm really looking forward to doing things that I actually want to do. One of the things that's on my vision board is lightening my load. And I know some of my friends would laugh at me when I say this, because I never really lighten my load, because I'm always involved in so many things. But the difference that I'm doing, what I'm doing this year, is I might not necessarily be lightening my load in the things that I'm involved with, but I'm being more intentional about the things that I want to do. Cause I be doing too much, y'all, and y'all be seeing me out here just doing too much. Um, so yeah, socially, yeah, I don't really hang out with too many regular love people, Kajoya. So yeah, I be in the house. Y'all may not think that I'm in the house, but I really am in the house. If I come out of the house, it is more than likely business related, and then I have my happy hours here and there. But I really be in the house, especially if I'm in Houston. My social life is usually turned up when I go out of town, because then I could just release all of the anxiety from being in Houston and the stresses of work and what have you. I think it's different when you travel and you can just kind of breathe a little. Um, let's see. Uh, Renee said, I'm to the point when I think of my brother, I laugh. He was so funny. Yeah, it comes in waves. Like, grief makes you feel like a crazy person. Dubai was great, Max. Thanks for asking. Just Lee, so sorry to hear about that. Hey, mommy. Y'all say hi to my mom in the chat. But yeah, Dubai was amazing. If you've never been, you have to go. I really had a good time. The food, if people are telling you the food is trash in Dubai, I don't know where they were going, because me and Robin, we ate our way through that city and it was amazing. All the food was good. And I saw somebody post something, I don't know, on the Shade Room, talking about it was an expensive like fufu steak. And I'm like, I don't know where y'all were going, but we had some pretty reasonable food, except when we went to this Michelin star restaurant, and that was the wrong time for us to go to that restaurant, because we had eaten like 5 meals that day. And we still had to eat there. We had a minimum to spend there. So it was awful. But I was not going to let that food go to waste, because we were in a 7-star hotel and at a Michelin star restaurant. So Robin and I will forever laugh about that story, because I was miserable, y'all. But I was not going to leave any food on my plate. Um, let's see. What are you looking for in a man? I generally don't answer that question, because a lot of men tend to transform themselves into the man that you told them you want. And so I really just kind of avoid answering that question. So yeah. But so funny. Yeah, food was amazing. Let's see. All right. Did I miss anybody's questions? I want to make sure I got everybody. Okay. How tall am I? I am 5'2", and it's so funny you asked that because whenever people meet me in person, they're like, "Oh my God, I thought you were so tall." It's these long fingers and the arms. I got like a pretty extensive wingspan, y'all. I could palm a basketball. Like I was meant to be tall, but something happened along the way. Now, thank God I don't have big feet because that would look really weird on a 5'2" person. But yeah, I'm only 5'2", but in my head, I'm about 5'10". You know, you can't tell me nothing when I walk through. You know, I'm tall. So I have a tall spirit. But yeah, so people always tell me, "Oh my God, I thought you were so tall." Sorry to disappoint you. All right. Jennifer, hey Jennifer, she said, "I am learning that 2023 is 2023 me." I love that. Self care. She said, "Hey mama, the man should be attentive." Absolutely. She said, "Look," she said, "I'm putting it all in one paragraph." I love that, Jennifer, and I love that for you. 2023 me, okay? 2023 me, please. That's what I'm talking about. LC said, "Now you definitely have a 5'10" attitude." You know, actually, it might be more like 6'2", but I'm just, I'm giving myself a little, little buffer there, so it's not absolutely ridiculous. Um, don't be coming for me, LC. You tried it over there. All right. So yes, wine Lambrusco. If you haven't tried it, it's really good. What other countries would you want to visit? Oh man, Max, that's a long list. It's 195 countries. I've been to, I want to say 40 countries. So I still have a lot of places to go. Bali's on my list. I want to do a multi country tour of Africa. And let's see. I haven't done a lot of Eastern Europe, so I want to do that. I've done most of Western Europe. And yeah, so many places that I want to go. We going somewhere, Max? Is that why you're asking? You lining up the books because it's time for another vacation. It's time for another vacation. So, all right. Uh, Yeah, she is definitely sitting peacefully. She's such a good girl. She knows. She knows what time it is. She knows not to cut up over here. You know, she knows. Okay, y'all. I love the questions. You guys are here today. I appreciate it. So definitely make sure you turn on your notifications. You do not want to miss this episode next week with Dr. Tart. I can't wait to get him on the screen. He's amazing. And I will see you guys next Monday. I can't believe like we're almost done with January. This is crazy. But we're here. Oh, thanks, Just Lee. I appreciate you. Here's to 2023 me, boo. All right. See y'all later. Thank you.